New city manager for Johannesburg has recommended the reappointment of Floyd Brink. Out of 10 shortlisted candidates interviewed for that role, Brink emerged as the panel's top choice. He has, however, been removed from that position twice in the past 2 years, following court rulings that both his 2023 appointment and his subsequent reappointment were unlawful. With the panel's latest recommendation, Brink is expected to be reappointed as city manager for a third time today. Tshwane has more.
The Johannesburg City Council is meeting today to debate and consider the selection panel's recommendations to reappoint Floyd Brink as the city manager. But the council is divided, with the ANC-led coalition expected to support Brink's return, while the DA and other opposition parties are firmly against it. Some opposition parties argue that Brink is not the most suitable candidate for the role and allege that he's aligned with the ANC. The selection panel has recommended that Brink be appointed on a fixed-term performance-based contract effective from the 1st of November. Council members are set to vote on the selection panel's recommendations this afternoon. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
To this now, the Ztobeni Community Policing Forum in Bronkhorstspruit says the gunman who shot patrons at a tavern had an intention to kill. One of the suspects arrested earlier this week is expected to make his first court appearance today. He faces charges including 5 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder. Scores of community members have gathered outside court to attend those proceedings. Thanduluhle Ngcobo is there.
Dozens of community members from Ztobeni Township Extension 8 have gathered at the Bronkhorstspruit Magistrates Court, where the man accused of the horrific shooting that killed 5 people and injured others is expected to appear. Recounting that horrific day, CPF leader November Mbonani says that one of the suspects walked into the tavern armed, looking for someone.
On the scene, it is very clear he was looking for somebody very specific. He paddled at all the patrons, and when it identified his victim, he then went there and shot him. I think more than 5 bullets the police reported.
He says other patrons were shot in the chaos as they were trying to run away from the scene. One of the victims remains in hospital and the 5 deceased were buried last week. Thanduluhle Ngcobo, Eyewitness News.
In the Western Cape, police are on the hunt for 4 men who escaped police custody in Wynberg. Officials say 6 men broke out of the holding cells at the Wynberg Magistrates Court after their court appearances on Monday. 2 were rearrested earlier this week. The men are wanted on charges of illegal possession of firearms and housebreaking, amongst others. Police spokesperson Wesley Twigg says whether the escape was an inside job or not forms part of the investigation.
They were all remanded in custody after their court appearances. They are Linda Soyeza, Mpumeleli Lufuta, Ismail George and Tofik Damu.
And Russia says the new sanctions imposed on its oil industry by the United States risk diplomatic efforts to end the war in the Ukraine. The U.S. slapped the country with new sanctions as part of efforts to pressure Moscow to negotiate the peace deal with the Ukraine. Trump made the sanctions announcement in the White House during a meeting with the NATO Secretary General. The Russian Foreign Ministry says it has developed a strong immunity to Western restrictions and will continue to confidently develop its economic potential. Gold is trading at $4,090.98 an ounce. The rand is at 17.46 to the dollar, 23.23 to the pound, 20.21 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.27 a barrel.
Well, at this stage, if you're heading towards Germiston, there's still those roadworks causing heavy delays in the Alex Calvin area. This is on the N3 southbound between the Bethlehem Interchange and London Road. Also further down the N3, but this time in the northerly direction, there's slow-moving traffic. This is between Van Buren and the Kilulis Interchange. While in the mother city, we still have those slow-moving traffic. This is also due to roadworks heading into the CBD of Cape Town on the elevated freeway.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 27 and 28 degrees, while Cape Town is also fine with a moderate northwesterly wind at a high of 22. The top story in EWN this hour, former Police Minister Bheki Cele says he was disturbed when he saw media reports claiming he was not willing to cooperate with Parliament's ad hoc committee probing police corruption.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, former Police Minister Bheki Cele weighs in on Senzo Mkunu's decision to disband the political killings task team. The Tshwane Mayor, Nasipi Moyo, responds to the 770 million rand spent on water tankers, saying it's a myth. The Milnerton boys are due to appear in court. The Home Affairs Minister on plans to deliver passports to your door. And our book of the week is Shift Happens, Tools to Transform Your Life. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. We're in the middle of a soap opera, South Africa. Every day there's a new installment of the Madlanga inquiry and the ad hoc committee. So we'll bring you the highlights reel today from both of those. We'll start in Parliament and then we'll go to Pretoria. Our book of the week today is a little bit different. It's from Richard Sutton. He's a global health and performance expert, and the book is about how your life won't get easier, but you can get stronger. So how do you deal with stress and burnout? Fascinating. I've really, really enjoyed this. But one of the things he speaks about is how you can halve your stress with cold exposure. So Cape Townians who are listening, those of you who like to hit Saunders Beach in the morning and then get into the mobile sauna afterwards, I think that's quite a common thing. But for Joburgers, I don't know. Are you cold exposing, Wim Hofing, doing that thing? I bought myself an ice bath. I have not taken it out of the box yet. That's my mission. For Palessa's looking at me in shock and awe. You can come and ice bath with me if you want. I mean, that's a bit weird, but yes, we can do that after gym because that's how we roll on the show. But what are your thoughts on cold exposure? Send me a WhatsApp voice note 072 7021 702. 072 567 1567. Onto the soap opera now, which in all seriousness is very, very important. So we'll start in Parliament because that's where the former Police Minister, Bheki Cele, is appearing today before the ad hoc committee investigating police corruption. He's been speaking specifically about the disbanding of the political killings task team. And this is the real essence here. The actual subject at hand is whether the correct decision was made by Senzo Mkunu, and that's what Bheki Cele has been weighing in on. Babalo Ndenze, EWN reporter, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. Bheki Cele making his thoughts quite clear on this. What has he said?
Yes, definitely, Mandy. Former Minister Bheki Cele making it quite clear that Minister Senzo Mkunu, who's on a leave of absence and ended his testimony yesterday after 4 days, overreached when he decided to disband the political task team arbitrarily on New Year's Eve last year. Bheki Cele even saying, Mandy, that, this task team directive came during the time when everybody was having a good time and partying. So he's also questioning the timing of that as well. And throwing Minister Mkunu under the bus, proverbially speaking, saying that, he contradicts Mkunu on the PKTT and the IMC. This is the Interministerial Committee which exercises oversight over the PKTT. He says this IMC was in existence, in fact, in the 7th administration. It did not cease to exist just because there was an election and a new government put in place. As Minister Mkunu had earlier claimed before the same committee, he says that a 2023 IMC meeting that he attended resolved not to disband the PKTT, and only the IMC, I beg your pardon, can disestablish such a structure or such a task team. And, he says that the IMC continues to exist and that he had to consult with the IMC, Minister Mkunu, that is. So Minister Mkunu being thrown under the bus by his former colleague in government, and also, saying that he basically, overstretched his hand in this matter, and also just questioning, the idea or the reasoning behind it. And Bheki Cele also touching on other issues, for example, issues around his own issues, personal issues when he was the police commissioner himself. Also giving some background of his life in the security apparatus of the country, his history in KZN when he was a chairperson of a security portfolio committee, and how he eventually became Minister of Police when he was appointed by Jacob Zuma in the previous administration and as National Commissioner. And he also just gave the committee some insight on what happened to him, when he was eventually let go of his position or fired, basically, and suspended by President Jacob Zuma for some deal related to the headquarters of the police and, public works and the property that the police were supposed to move into. And he says this came as a surprise to him because he was fired on a day where he actually met Zuma and went to work in Madlanga, where he also went to work with Khwanazi, who he knows is the center of these allegations. And he also just touches briefly on how Khwanazi himself was appointed acting national commissioner by Jacob Zuma. Let's just take a quick listen, Mandy.
Babalo, thank you very much. Babalo Ndenze, EWN reporter, giving us an update there on what Bheki Cele has been saying earlier today. Let's listen in live now and listen as he very animatedly is giving evidence there.
Trouble we have dealt with. KwaNongoma, there was a time when all councillors of all organizations were sleeping at Richards Bay. When the night falls, they get in a bus or taxi. They go. It's 116 kilometers away. They go and sleep there. What stabilized them to come back? There are two things. Those people who were arrested. So there's stability to Nongoma. But is that stability all over the province? No. It's not all over the province. As I'm saying, that people are guarded at Tshwane and at a big expense, the councillors. 2 months ago, when I passed at Kwamash Hostel, the councillor there, Gwala, was escorted by the police, people chasing him literally. He's an IFP councillor chased by IFP people. So don't tell me that there is a stability that you can come. So when all those people are removed for me, then that will be established. Then the mission will be accomplished. What happens if you withdraw them and then there's a flare up again? You go and constitute them and all that kind of. So I don't agree with having no value and mission having been accomplished.
So without wanting to put words in your mouth, you seem to say that one shouldn't just evaluate or analyze the successes or otherwise of the PKTT in terms of the number of arrests, the number of prosecutions, and how many years people were sentenced to jail. But where there is a period of relative calm, it could, or in your view, that's also due to the continued presence of the task team.
But the letter itself does say the key mandate was to stop, investigate, resolve the unresolved. Resolve the unresolved, which means it is understood for the fact that people are still gathered, for the fact that an investigation in some municipalities, there are cases that are unresolved that need to be followed and resolved. Even the letter understands. So why do you then stop when the mission has not been accomplished?
What about one of the minister's reasons or arguments also that all South Africans, all of us, deserve and are entitled to protection and to be safe, and not only a selected province or a selected group of people, like in this case politicians, mostly councillors, but he points, for example, to murders here on the Cape Flats, as you well know, and in other parts of the country now, Westbury, other parts that we read about almost daily. And for that reason, it's not just or equitable to just have a political task team that's focused on one province and one category of persons.
Chairperson, is like saying you have a bread. Instead of buying the bread for those that don't have a bread, you take the bread from the ones that you all go hungry. Instead of buying the bread for those that they don't have the bread. I fully agree, we're all equal. But maybe the books that we have not equality does silently apply sometimes. Some are more equal than others. Chair, it's not true that it's only just him that takes money. From 2021, there's Operation Mkodwemvubu. That is Kwamhlabeyalingana, the cross-border crimes. In Cape Town, there is a Operation Thunder stroke Operation Lockdown, which takes, I don't have figures, but I would suspect that Cape Town one might be even taken more. When is my suspicion. For instance, if you bring 200 police from other provinces and they stay here at the cost of 800 rand a night, and then they go back and they bring the other lot, and they come with the cars. They don't just come alone. They come with the cars from those provinces and they will get SNT when they're here. They will get over time the allowance that they're not at home.
Becky Cele, the former police minister, on the stand there at the ad hoc committee responding to Senzo Mchunu, his successor, who explained the decision to disband the political killings task team. Ever thought you'd hear Becky Cele quoting George Orwell? Oh, that was an interesting experience. I love a good analogy. So the loaf of bread was pretty good, I thought. But let me know what you think about that. Send me a WhatsApp voice note, 072 702 1702, 072 567 1567. Now we're going to go to the Madlanga inquiry with Oren Singh, who's been watching a witness be testifying. But Oren, before we go there, can you place Becky Cele's evidence in context? Is this a Mchunu versus Cele police war that we are witnessing at play here?
Mandy, I honestly think the hat, as he's sometimes referred to in certain circles, is trying to look out for number one at the present moment in time. He doesn't have a lot of people within his circle. We know that article by News 24 and Jeff Wicks with his links to Vusi Musikat Matlala didn't do him any favors. And we also heard that when Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi testified that he has not spoken to Becky Cele for months, claiming that he was interfering in certain police operations and trying to interfere in certain disciplinary hearings in that of crime intelligence, Major General Feroz Khan and Dumisani Khumalo. So he doesn't have much favor with a lot of people. I think he's trying to sort of just look out for number one at this present moment. He's going to throw anyone under the bus. And we've seen that so far with his testimony before the ad hoc committee trying to throw Senzo Mchunu under the bus. So he's trapped in a corner right now, and he doesn't have much options to his disposal.
Tell us about the Madlanga inquiry. Witness B, the investigating officer in the Armand Swart case, the Vereniging case, still on the stand.
Still on the stand this morning. Some interesting stuff coming out in relation to Lucky Molefe, and that is Katiso Molefe's nephew, who was the Transnet Freight Rail employee that essentially awarded this SK group a tender that saw this whole corruption come out and essentially resulted in the murder of Armand Swart, the Vereniging engineer. Lucky Molefe has been on the run, and so has Katie Molefe's son, Tapelo Molefe. But we heard some voice notes being played from the family, the Molefe family, that were sent to Lucky Molefe and Tapelo Molefe, suggesting that they should hide. They should go into hiding. They should steer clear of police
even removed the tracker from one of the vehicles Lucky Molefe was driving, an Audi RS4, saying remove the tracker from that vehicle because police are onto that vehicle and surveilling it. So a lot of, obviously, defeating the ends of justice claims coming out against the family of the Molefe, saying that they were telling these two boys, Lucky Molefe and Tapelo Molefe, to steer clear of police. And they remain wanted. There's a warrant of arrest out for them and they're on the run. Police haven't been able to track them down and arrest them.
Oren, thank you so much. Oren Singh, EWN reporter, giving us an update there on the Madlanga inquiry.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
This is Cindy on a 4-hour road trip with the girls.
Did you know in the 1970s this landmark...
And this is Cindy when she shares her 200 gig for 299 Rand on her MiFi router.
guys. Dodo, you're the DJ.
Extra your summer with a 200 gig SIM-only data deal for only 299 Rand per month and stream anywhere with 2 months free YouTube Premium plus 5 gigs free YouTube data. Sign up or upgrade online and in store. T's and C's apply. Further together with Vodacom.
There's something magical about booking your next getaway. Whether you're flying for business or leisure, Airlink is ready to take you there in premium comfort. With over 45 destinations in 15 African countries, Airlink connects you throughout Southern Africa and beyond. No middle seats, just wider window or aisle seating. And yes, free luggage, snacks and beverages are still our thing. Plus, our Skybucks frequent fly program rewards you every time you fly. Book on flyairlink.com or your travel agent. Fly Airlink, the freedom of the African sky.
Live extra with Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket. Save big on deals like Lager Rooibos tea products. Buy any 2 and save 30%. Lancewood cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams, any 2 for 249 Rand. And buy 2 Baby Soft Supreme Quilts, 2-ply toilet rolls, 18 per pack, and get a 3rd one free. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a nervous but excited first-time driver waiting for the perfect gap to switch lanes. I can do this. The pressure. The Outsurance pointsman knows it's not just a car in traffic. It's a sense of freedom and independence on the move. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good day, Mandy. As known, Mandy, what massive calamity, to mention a few, is pointing to Mr. Kunu, Senzom Kunu, as well as his ANC colleagues. But that is not the issue. Why? Because they will not be charged in court. They will not go to jail, found guilty or whatever. And plus, after this commission, everything will be wrapped up. Not a single one. There will be a report to state no who's guilty or what happened thereafter. Simply because they are friends of their deity, Mr. Pinocchio Finishankla, Pepilon of Elders.
Thank you very much on the WhatsApp line. Mr. Hat is killing it for now, grilling his comrade. Unfortunately, the storm is also coming for him from Pat. Yeah, remember, Bheki Cele will also be cross-examined by MPs, and I imagine that is going to be fiery.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays 12 to 1 p.m.
The mayor of Tshwane, Dr. Nasipi Moya, has been responding to a storm around allegations that the water tanker spendage in the city of Tshwane increased by 455% since the city was taken over by the ANC EFF Action SA coalition. The figure of 777 million rand has been put forward as the expenditure on water tankers. Lots of reaction to that, saying it is outer saying it's criminal that a situation is being created where there is this dependency on water tankers. So the mayor has responded by clarifying that number, and she joins us now to unpack that. Dr. Moyo, Mayor, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Afternoon, Mandy, and thank you for having me.
I was trying to say Madam Mayor, and I almost called you Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry about that.
Madam Mayor makes me feel very old.
I understand. Okay, Nasipi, Dr. Moyo. So explain this number of 777 million. You've put out a graphic explaining where this number comes from and what the actual number is. So break that down for us, please.
Okay, so the 777 million rand, that is a screenshot from our SAP system, which talks to the purchase orders. So it's a procurement activity, not the actual expenditure. So that figure even takes into account the invoices from the 2023-2024 financial year, but it's just POs. The actual figure for 2024-2025 is 621 million rand that is spent on water tankers. And that amount includes the amount of 179 million rand that is accrued from the 2023-2024 financial year. So when we then went to the adjustment budget earlier this year, we clarified even to council to say this is to accommodate the accrued invoices on the water tankers. And it's important that we say even in 2021 and 2022, while there was no designated line item or expenditure item on water tankers, there was expenditure in those years. And only in 2023, 2024, where there was a budget that is designated for water tankers. But that budget fell short of 179 million rands. In July 2024, there was a strike by service providers of water tankers in the city. And the negotiated settlement there was that we will pay the amount, but it was not budgeted for. Hence, the adjustment budget was that high. But the actual figure is 621 million rand. It includes the 179 million rand. It also includes the 98 million rand that was spent in the first quarter before we taken over. But what we have done is to break it down. What are the four pressure or points or the main reasons for that money? Because it's still a very high, Mandy. I don't want
this is the point that I want to make. Okay, so if you look at the graph and you break it down, best case scenario for you is a number of 342,230,180 rand and 20 cents. Okay, so even that number of 342 million on water tankers is astonishingly eye-watering high.
It is. And so we then gave the four reasons why we spend. And I'll tell you what we are doing to reduce it. The first one is that you will recall that in the city, not only in the city, but the Rand Water was doing large-scale maintenance. There is July, there is May, there is August, there is November. And we did not plan for those. And remember, we talk about 29 days for formalized areas without water. And there's a figure that is attached to that period. The second one is the one that we can't run away and lie to residents. The ailing infrastructure and the low cost of repairs and maintenance over the years in the city, it leads to pipe burst and everything. So the bigger figure then talks to it that these are water tankers that are deployed in case there's water shedding or there's an issue with the water pipes. The two other figures, they talk to the court order that we have in relation to the Rooiwal project, the failed Rooiwal project, and the effect that has had on the farmers there. There's an amount that is attached to the trucks that we used to supply them with 8, but now we had to increase that amount to 16. And then similar to the Hammanskraal water, after the cholera, there was then a resolution in the court order that says you must supply alternative water supply for drinking purposes. So we break it down in terms of how much it is. It's still very high. As a result, one of the decisions we made in December already, 2024, was first to say emergencies must be treated as emergencies because this amount looks like we've normalized water tankers. Then we procured 15 of them. And that is the monies that we budgeted for the period that started in July already. They are being fitted. So in cases of emergencies, we're going to use our tankers driven by our officials to deliver water to the people. But also we need to talk about the boreholes and the communal taps where possible. But the biggest thing we are doing is the investment in infrastructure, because we're talking about reservoirs that are over 50 years old, the water pipe replacement program that has not been done or intensified, and we are reaping. But we are saying, we acknowledge that's a very high price. In fact, there are two, just as a last point.
We have to wrap, unfortunately. We are out of time, so get your last point in.
Oh, so the last point is that earlier this year, we partnered with one of the state-owned agencies to investigate in relation to theft and vandalism if we have a criminal element that is exacerbating this. So it's not that we've been sitting on our hands. We've been addressing these issues up front because we want to reduce that amount.
Dr. Nasipi Moya, Tshwane Mayor, thank you very much responding there to that figure, explaining why it's not quite 777 million spent on water tankers, but still that number far too high in my opinion. 12:32, sorry I'm a little bit late for news. Time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. Former Police Minister Bheki Cele says the Minister of Police does not have the power to disestablish a political killings task team. Cele says there are various processes and consultations that need to take place before such a decision is made. He's currently giving evidence at Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption. 8 grade 11 learners suspended from the Milnerton High School in Cape Town for alleged assault are set to appear in court today. A video of that incident went viral on social media platforms this week, sparking outrage. The Western Cape Education Department says the school followed due process after the incident was reported to it last week. And the Tshwane municipality is disputing that it has spent 777 million rand on water tankers in 1 year alone. That figure comes from a recent News 24 article which has sparked outrage over the city's spending. The capital's coalition government held a media briefing in Pretoria today where it said the quoted figure is not accurate. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon. I'm Mawande Mateza. Defending World Test champions, the Proteas beat Pakistan by 8 wickets in the second test to level the series at 1-1. The South Africans produced an outstanding performance this morning as spinner Simon Harmer took 4 wickets in the first hour of play on day 4 to finish with career best figures of 6 for 50 as Pakistan were dismissed for 138. The Proteas reached the target of 67 in the 13th over. And after the game, Harmer spoke about how they were able to maintain their belief even when it looked like victory was impossible at a stage.
It's a credit to where the group is at the moment. The fact that they can turn it around. I think in yesteryear we might have been guilty of not giving up, but under pressure making poor decisions, where I think the squad at the moment, and credit to the coaching staff, Shukri in particular, instilling the belief in the players, allowing people to be free. It takes away that element of fear of failure, which I think is huge.
In football, Banyana were held to a 1-1 draw in the first leg of their women's AFCON qualifier against DR Congo. The second leg is at the FNB Stadium next Tuesday. While in the Betway Premiership, Orlando Pirates extended their winning streak in the league to 6 games following their 1-0 victory over Polokwane City. The Buccaneers are 3 points behind log leaders Mamelodi Sundowns, while Stellenbosch are out of the relegation zone after a thrilling 4-3 win against Golden Arrows. While Kaizer Chiefs were held to a goalless draw by Siwelele FC, and Chiefs are winless now in their last 4 league games. While in the UEFA Champions League, Liverpool ended their 4-match losing streak in all competitions with a 5-1 victory over Germany's Eintracht Frankfurt. Chelsea thrashed Ajax 5-1 as well, while Real Madrid edged Juventus 1-0. Mawande Mateza, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you're traveling through Alex Kelvin area, we still have those roadworks slowing down traffic N3 in both directions. This is between London Road and the Baclue interchange. Also driving towards Brakpan, that's leaving the Benoni area. Traffic a bit sluggish on Rangeview Road between Dube and Tom Jones. While in the mother city, we still have slow-moving traffic heading into the CBD. That's on the elevated freeway. There's also an accident scene N1 outbound before Yipteyacha, causing heavy delays. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch, introducing the king of power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just 169 Rand a month over 36 months or 4,999 Rand at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
Rent up, food up, electricity up, everything up, up, up. Except demos at Motor Select. This Friday and Saturday only, we're bringing prices down on demo models from leading brands. Trade your car in and get up to 100,000 Rand trade-in assist in our Demo Deal Dash. 2 days only. Visit SA's largest dealer network at motorselect.co.za to shop our demo range.
Small businesses are anything but small. They're the backbone of our communities, the dreamers, the doers, the ones who keep Mzansi moving forward. That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them in the spotlight. Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m., catch Small Business Focus with Capitec, where we showcase the hustle, heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters, and with Capitec, you're never building it alone. Small Business Focus with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. on 702. Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP 46669.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Well, at this stage, if you're traveling through Alex,
Hi, Mandy. It's Lebu here.
Those roadworks slowing down traffic.
Regarding this Pretoria water tank scandal or accusations, I hear Mbali says it's not accurate, so it's more or less correct. It's just that it's not the right figure. What are they saying? Is it not the right amount? Is it way too much? Or is it not accurate? Thanks, Mandy.
Hi, Mandy. On the water tankers over expenditure by the city of Tshwane, it's a self-created problem. There's a policy called formalizing the informal settlement. That was adopted by the council. What it meant was now they have to provide services to informal settlements that don't have water supply infrastructure. And we warn them that this is not sustainable.
Oh, we got a Google Maps Waze direction. We got a traffic report in the voice notes. So well done, everyone, because you got to get those updates as well. Hey, on the water tanker issue, I do think that this is the problem you have where you have various administrations replacing each other. So it's a self-created problem, but now it's very easy for Action SA, EFF, ANC to say, oh, but this was created by the previous administration when Celia Brink was in the position. And if you look at the numbers in the breakdown, it is semantics. And I understand that they're at pains to explain that figure, that it's not 777 and it's closer to 350. It's still way too high. And it's still not good enough, in my opinion.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
An announcement yesterday that you may have heard already on our news bulletins here, but essentially what it is that Home Affairs is introducing doorstep delivery of passports for South Africans, but they're starting off with South Africans who live abroad. The Home Affairs Minister, Dr. Leon Schreiber, making this announcement at The Hague in the Netherlands, where Home Affairs launched its latest dedicated service. So how is this going to work, and is it going to cost us more? Let's understand those details with Dr. Leon Schreiber, who joins us now. Minister, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Afternoon, Mandy. Afternoon to the listeners.
So, firstly, what exactly is the plan? Is it a phased approach, and what's the ultimate intention?
Well, the ultimate goal of what we are doing is to deliver Home Affairs at home. That's been the vision that we put on the table from the start of this administration. And this is really a key step in that process, where we want to bring services closer to where people are. And one key way in which we can do that is to reduce the requirements for people to actually make a trip in order to collect a document. So where we want to end up is to have the option, both in South Africa and for South Africans anywhere in the world, to be able to select a doorstep delivery option if they don't want to travel again to collect a particular document. Obviously, what we're also working on at the same time is through our new digital partnership model with the banks. We want to have you able to order these documents through your banking application, for example, or at your local bank branch. And then if you can couple that with home delivery, then you are really starting to move in that direction of Home Affairs at home, where you don't have to go somewhere to obtain these services.
And what infrastructure will you be using? Is it private courier companies? How exactly does this work on a practical level?
Yeah. Yes, so these are all established security couriers, as they call them. So these are well-known companies all around the world that do this kind of thing. It's also, when it comes from the international perspective, it's something that other countries do offer. It's the ability to actually have your passport delivered to where you are. So we are rolling this out now in these 18 different locations around the world, because it's a nice control group for us. It's a small subset of the broader South African population, and so it gives us an opportunity to really refine how this can work, make sure that we have all the security and the efficiencies in the service that we're looking for. And so that's why it's quite exciting. It's something that Home Affairs has never offered in the past. And if we can get it right in this small subset of 18 locations globally, then we will have confidence that we can also make it work at scale, really, in South Africa. So it's really the kind of approach that we've taken to position Home Affairs more as, you know, a company in the tech space would operate. You have a soft launch, you pilot things, you make sure that everything is in place, and then you scale it up from there. So this is another initiative in that vein.
And I imagine the cost would be for the client, would be for me.
Yeah, so I mean, it is an optional service. You can still collect it. Obviously, there are people who might live close to where one of these facilities are, and they would prefer to collect it. So it is an optional, additional value-added service. But I do think that there are going to be a very large number of people who make use of this. You can just imagine someone who lives in the US, for example, you know, may have to travel a huge distance with their family to go and apply for new passports. And then once they're ready for collection, you actually have to buy new flight tickets for a family of 4 or 5. It's a massive expense. So if you compare a courier fee of, you know, for example, $30 or $50, it's actually very small in comparison to what it actually currently costs South Africans to obtain these documents once they are ready for collection. So I think there's going to be strong demand for this service. And again, it's portending, it's signaling, it's taking us in the direction where we want to go for all of our clients, to say that if you live in South Africa, you have exactly the same problem. People have to get up early, they miss a day of work, they have to travel a second time just to go and collect these documents from a Home Affairs office. And so if we get this right overseas with this smaller subset, I'm confident that we can roll it out in South Africa and really make a huge difference to how people experience the convenience of these services.
Dr. Leon Schreiber, thank you very much for your time. The Home Affairs Minister speaking to us there about the new plan to introduce doorstep delivery of passports for South Africans abroad.
The joy of what if we just let it go to voicemail. The joy of what if we skipped the flight for a front row seat to the open road. The joy of what if the wrong turn took us the right way. The joy of what if we didn't share this view and kept it our secret. The joy of what if not being there yet was the best part. Choose the joy of what if with BMW.
Do you live in an estate, complex or sectional title scheme? The Community Schemes Ombud Service invites you to the Seesaw Sindaba 2025 on the 23rd and 24th of October at the Canvas Riversands Fourways. Join the Minister of Human Settlements, Thembi Simelane, alongside government officials, industry experts and key stakeholders as we explore the future of harmonious living in estates. Register today on seesaws.org.za or on our social media platforms.
The stage, the lights, the crowd, everything's perfect until suddenly someone slips on the dance floor. A speaker lands in the buffet. In an instant, your masterpiece is a mess. That's why Auto & General is there with Events Liability Insurance. We handle the unexpected so you don't have to. Plan the party, wow the guests, leave the rest to us. For more information on Events Liability Insurance, visit autogen.co.za. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
There's so much news to take in. By the end of the day, you just want it all to make sense.
That's why you listen to John Perlman on your drive home.
You may not always get the answers you want,
but you're guaranteed better questions
and all sides of the story.
Every show is an attempt to tie up any loose ends
and give you a better view of where things stand before you get home.
John Perlman is on 702.
Monday to Friday,
3 to 6 p.m.
Let's walk the talk.
702 and Cape Talk.
Book of the Week.
Oh, let me switch my microphone on. Sorry, I was so busy chatting to the author of our book that's coming up. I got overexcited. So today is a Thursday, and on Thursdays we speak to the author of a local non-fiction book. And sure, we've been doing a lot of very serious books about politics, about crime. We spoke to Peter du Toit, Carl Cowan, Jeff Wicks, Paulie van Wyk, all about the non-fiction books that they have released of late. So I thought we needed a little bit of a reprieve from that. And today's book is very different. It's from Richard Sutton, who's a global health and performance expert. You may have read his books before, The Stress Code, Stress Proof, and Thrive. And this one is called Shift Happens. It's 12 tools to calm, strengthen, and transform your life. So I've been reading this, and I found it so engaging and interesting, but maybe it's because I'm in a season of stress and have been crazy busy. So it's really resonated with me. And there are great stories that are told of high achievers who use these various tools. So Richard Sutton joining me in studio today. Richard, thank you so much, and congrats on another book.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So everyone I speak to, and my experience of reading this book, is that it's your most personal book yet. Was that intentional?
I think you build confidence over time. When you first publish a book, you're trying to prove yourself to yourself more than anyone else. And as time progresses and as you feel more confident in the space, you can, I think, express yourself to a more authentic state.
So you speak at the start of this book about shifts that have happened in your life. And you speak about two shifts specifically. One is as a child. The other is when you went into the Defence Force, into the Navy specifically. So talk us through those shifts and what you learned from that you're now sharing with your readers.
There were seminal moments, and I think we all go through those moments where we feel stuck and we feel a little bit lost and we don't know what the next step is and we lose direction. And the first real points or inflection points in my life was I was struggling at school. It was a tremendous struggle, but I was more than that. I was struggling at home. I came from a very difficult childhood environment, as most people do. I think 50% of the country do. And I was working at night and I was going to school in the day, and everything pretty much suffered. I wasn't looking after myself physically, mentally, emotionally. And the school suggested that I go have an aptitude test, which I then did. And it was a very kind of long and arduous test. And I thought I did pretty well. But
I remember my aptitude test. I also thought I did pretty well.
I said,
go be a journalist.
And as it turned out, there was nothing ready to tell. The the person, the psychologist who performed the test, believed that I was better for a technical trade. I didn't really know what that was, and I left there very deflated, but at the same time very inspired to prove him wrong and to prove all kind of the disbelievers wrong within my kind of own ecosystem. And that was like a driving force. I can do this. And the narrative changed in my mind. And it was this burning desire to kind of exceed other people's expectations. So that was the first inflection point. The second was I'd got to national service. I didn't, because of my school marks, I didn't go straight to study. I went and did national service first. And in national service, it was a particularly difficult intake. And the first 6 weeks were very tough. And I'd entered that environment compromised. I wasn't physically strong. I wasn't very emotionally strong because of the childhood trauma. And every single day I was telling myself, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. This is impossible. I'm not equipped for this. And the narrative was on repeat. And every day seemed to get harder and seemed to get more challenging. And what happened was there was a day where everything stopped. And so often in life, nothing stops. We're just on this roller coaster and on this Ferris wheel. Just goes round and round. And it was there that stopped. And of course, the Springboks were involved in the day that stopped. They were playing.
Any good story.
In any good story, the Springboks are there.
Springboks.
And they were playing a match against some team somewhere. And what happened was the base was quiet. All the instructors and all the commanders and all the officers were watching the match. And we had this rare opportunity to walk as opposed to running around, and rare opportunity to just be with ourselves. And I was walking around the base, and I was in Ztobeni at the time. It was a beautiful city. I mean, Ztobeni is magical. And I was looking around, and I just reflected on the experience. And the experience was that I had to finish this. And so often I just wanted to quit, and I did quit. I don't have a choice. And either I change the way I view it, or I'm going to be a casualty of the circumstances. And it was a decision to see things differently. It was a decision to say that instead of I can't, I can, I will, and I must. And those themes really resonated and continue to resonate throughout basic training. And it was a transformative moment, because from really disliking the environment and being particularly bad in the environment in every exercise and every drill, a week or two later with this new narrative, there was this transformation where I started loving it. And I started becoming far more competent. And it's just the power of the mind and the power of what we tell ourselves.
So you speak in the book about this shift and the tools required to achieve it, about how you can reclaim control and clarity and confidence with methods. And you tell stories about Novak Djokovic, for example, Billie Eilish. You've somehow managed to tell a story about Lady Gaga and link that to cold plunging. Which I thought was a great effort. Well done. So I read that for the Lady Gaga story, but also the cold plunging is something that's become so topical. I mean, Pelesa and I have been speaking about it for the last hour, about the benefits of it and how it can be utilized. So talk us through that.
So cold plunging is very interesting. There's a couple of pieces here in that when we get stressed, there's different circumstance and context for stress. There's stress in the moment, which we can manage quite effectively with a little bit of a breath here or there and certain techniques. There's stress in a more sustained experience or environment where it's a couple of weeks that are very hard, and that requires a different set of circumstances, a different set of interventions. And then we've got that stress that is very, very overwhelming. Stress where we feel like no breathing, no meditation, no yoga, none of the normal modalities are going to be effective. And interestingly enough, mechanistically, there's a certain chemical in our brain called neuropeptide Y. One particular molecule, one particular function. And that function is to control our experience of overwhelm. So the more we express of this molecule, the better we feel in difficult situations. Now, this is where it's not just cold immersion, it's actually any thermal intervention. A sauna, a hot bath, and a cold immersion come into play in that they express neuropeptide Y. And I think that the world has moved towards this cold showers, cold plunges, cold baths, cold exposure, largely because of the uncertainty and the complexity and the challenge and the speed of life. And everyone's trying to kind of settle down. They don't know why they feel better, but they do feel better. But there's a second part to the story, and I think this is the interesting part and how it links to Lady Gaga, in that adverse childhood experiences, and if you read the book, I mean, she's had a very, very difficult road. Despite her success and despite how brilliant she is, the path was very painful. And we see with adverse childhood experience and adverse experiences like a whole recalibration of our brain, a whole recalibration of our stress response, a whole recalibration of a lot of different things, including our immune system. And the one thing about regular and repeated cold exposure, she introduced it largely to recover from shows, but over time she noticed that it was having a behavioral influence and an emotional influence on her. And cold exposure mechanistically has this capacity to almost kind of heal the damage that has been induced through these adverse childhood experiences or difficult periods of our life.
It's fascinating to listen to. I mean, you speak about breathing, you speak about movement as well, short bursts of movement, how you unlock creativity. So there's a lot of tools that are very applicable. There's a lot of self-help books out at the moment, and a lot of them are flying. Would you describe this as a self-help book? You say in the book that it doesn't need to be read in, from beginning to end. I've been reading it from, tool to tool, whichever one interests me. What is your advice to people?
I think this is a book about getting unstuck. It's self-development, certainly. I tried not to make it faddish. It's timeless. They're tools that are practical, they're useful, they can be implemented in any context. It's tools that sometimes we use, but we don't use it at the right time in the right context. There's also this big piece on storytelling, and the storytelling element I think it's more important than anything else because it makes it relatable. If other people have gone through these difficult experiences and been able to overcome it through tools and through strategies or mindsets or behaviors, it means that we can. And it gives us a tremendous sense of confidence in our future and in impossibility.
Richard, thank you so much. Thanks for popping in. I think there's so much to take away from this. It's something that really resonates with me when you're dealing with stress of a news cycle and everything else that's going on. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
The book is called Shift Happens, 12 Tools to Calm, Strengthen and Transform Your Life by Richard Sutton. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Have you got something to celebrate with friends and family? Pesto Princess has authentic butter chicken curry sauce that makes feeding a crowd simple and affordable. Just add chicken or veggies, simmer and serve. Find all our fresh cooking sauces at Spar and Checkers or visit pesto.co.za. Pesto Princess is celebrating too. 25 years in business. I'm Kathleen, the founder, and your support means the world to me and my team.
Before a masterpiece takes shape, there's a single line that starts it all, until every curve and every angle reflects the clarity of a single vision. And only then does inspiration take its final form. The all-new Audi A5, designed to inspire. Starting from $14,499 per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za or your nearest dealer for more. T's and C's apply.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a work commuter. She's done this route 1,000 times. Perhaps she's daydreaming of a different job or just counting down to the weekend. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just another car in traffic. It's anticipation on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
The Midday Report.
Hi, Mandy. How come you managed to read Mr. Sutton's book when you're so busy and so stressed? Well done, Errol.
Errol. So that's the thing, right? So I read one book a week pretty much because we do a book a week on the show. And when you're an author on the other side, I can tell when people have read my book and they're interviewing me. So I like to read a book before I interview somebody. And then on Real Bogile show on 702, we do a book club once a month. So that's a fiction book as well. And then, of course, I'm doing publicity for my own book. So that's why Richard's book about stress is resonating with me so much. And as he just said to me as he left the studio, use the 12 tools to calm, strengthen, and transform your life. Thank you, Richard. I'll be doing that. So thank you so much for joining us today. Keep watching. Becky Cele is at the ad hoc committee, the Madlanga inquiry, and Jacob Zuma's about to have a press conference too, just to keep things interesting. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. It's 1 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The DA plans to table a motion of no confidence against Lesotho, and Tshwane disputes spending over 700 million rand on water tankers. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The DA in Gauteng has announced Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The DA in Gauteng has announced plans to table a motion of no confidence